So, hey everyone. Oh, welcome to my meeting. I think it's a good kind of follow up. Oh, yeah. I think it's a good follow up, you know, from the last two meetings, since like Tessa already talked about how you know, Tessa already did some tutorials on how, to set up some of the scenes, you know, to do some of the basic modeling kind of. And I think it's time that we take what we have so far and then turn it into like a complete art piece or somewhat a concept piece. So I'm gonna spend like the first half of the meeting talking about what is 3D paint over and how you can, transform that plain 3D value render into like a complete piece. And whatever time we have left, I'm gonna do like a small sort of paint over, and I'm gonna hand out the render that I did to you guys as well, so you guys can try it out on your own. You can follow along me if you like to. I think it would be a fun one to do. All right, so what is 3D paint over? So it's just basically it's implied. It's just like you have a render piece, you did from a 3D software, and then you use it as a base for your painting. And I saw a lot of people like having doubts about using 3D for their workflow. And I think that 3D is like a very kind of desirable skill now, because like you need to save times and you got to keep like the consistency in your designs. So it's always better if you know, like, if you have like a general understanding of 3D, because like after you do all the renderings, the perspective, and the angles and the values all there. And it's just your job to like put in some more work kind of, and you can achieve like the level of complexity. Like, it's like way superior when you do it on scratch, because it also saves like a lot of time. And it has become like a part of my workflow ever since like I took the 326 class from SCAD. So a few things you need to know before you get started. So like, just pick a program you wanted to use, probably Maya or Blender. I would highly recommend using Blender. And before you moving on to doing 3D, you should like follow up with some of the tutorials that, like, there's a tons of tutorials on, the internet, probably YouTube. You can surf through all of that. Tessa already did a tutorial on how to use Blender, and it's kind of crucial to know like the basic of modeling for Blender, how you place objects, how you like extrude, and how you edit the planes for the models. And it's true that you can use like some of the pre-made models you can find on Sketchfab or something, but it's still, you still need to know like how to place them, you know, and then how to like set up the light to make it work. Because at the end, you still need the render, and you still need like the values there. Hopefully that makes sense. And then alongside that, I think you should also be doing like more painting studies, like quick ones. Like, do it every day. Like Plain April is like on right now, so if you want to take like a try on that, like go for it. It's very like helpful, because I did it last year and like it changed like the way I work a lot. So here's like some of the renderings. Like if you like spend like a few weeks, probably a month, you can probably do this like with no difficulties at all because these are very kind of a simple, you know, scenes. It's just made out of cubes and uh, sphere, and then like a cylinder. It's very like easy to do. And one of the things I wanted to point out too is that you need to, retain a lot of the details in your render because later on you can still like kind of edit that for the lighting. And one of the mistake that I did for my first kind of the for my few first render is that I kind of lost a lot of details in my renders. Like you can see on the top left here, like in the shadows there, you're losing like a lot of details and you cannot bring it back like when you're doing the paint over. So I would advise to like place the light in some way that you can still keep like all the details in there. And then here on the bottom left is from Ron Spear, I believe. He used to be like the chair of illustration department like last year. And this is like the first kind of exercise that he gave that got me into like the 3D paint over stuff. Bottom right is from Tessa. I did a paint over on that, but it failed miserably like last month. Maybe I'll take a try like next time. So moving to the process of how you kind of build up from what you have. So let's say you have like a black and white render that you like just freshly take out. Normally I would just start with, so the key to all like change like doing the paint over is like mask. Mask is like your friend. I saw a lot of people doing like gradient. That works as well. But I think it's better when you like stack up like loads of mask, but it's just in different hues and they kind of contrast rather in values or kind of in temperature. And you just start building up on it. So you see here in my process, I've included some of the steps here. So start out with the render and then you put on I usually start with like the low kind of a low saturated color, and which is kind of cool most of the time, blues, purple, greenish kind of. And then I start building the light on it. Normally the cool's in the shadows and like the warm's in the light. So if you follow that principle, you're basically good for most of the time. And then finally, if you got all the form kind of defines there, it's just like the matter of fact you do like the touch ups, seam lines and patterns on like your objects and your buildings and whatnot, and adding stuff to it, details to it. Here's like a here's like a an example to clarify that. So for this one, I kind of separate them like through 4 layers of mask, each of them. So I started out with like the kind of velvet, like cool red, and then I start building the orange red on top of it, and then comes the paint pattern, which is like the cool blues, and then the reflected light, which is also like the bluish gray color. And the reflected lights like really kind of helps, make the objects kind of pops up like very well. Here's like another example, but started out with the local color, and still it's still like a very low, like a cool color. And then, you know, I started to build the light, like the warmer blues on top of it, and then the reflected lights, like the pinkish color there. and then finally the details, just touch up. And with like this method, like in mind, you can like create like a lot of, you can save a lot of time doing your work, and then like the final result is like amazing as well. Like I don't, I didn't spend like a lot of time doing like these, just like basic cubes for the cars, and then move straight to like the painting process. Here's like another example with environment thing. So this is the last render I show you. So started out with like the black and white, and then I know exactly what I want. I build up the background through like just 2D paint, and it started out with the cool colors and start building the light on top of it to kind of define the form. And when the colors are all there, the final touch up, you just wanted to like add something subtle, like picking out certain points of colors in the painting and just adding it up, like stacking it layers up. Here's another example. Like the model is like exactly the same as the last one, but I rearranged it a little bit. For this one, this like the station, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it. So just leave it like that as cubes. And later on you can just, if you don't want like attention to some of that, you can just hide it in your paintings. Like for some part, if you want the viewer to look at it, you just need to boost up like the contrast, and then like the details, some of the details you don't want people to look at. You just want them to blend into the environment as much as possible, like close in value in terms of values. So yeah, here's the round spear exercise. Same thing. I follow the same process, but I forgot to save like the process for this one. But basically, I started out with the purple color, and then started building it up with like yellowish green, and like a little bit of rust as another part of the mask. And yeah, just altering between like layers and layers, doing contrast between values and then temperature, like cools to warm and warm to cools. And sometimes like for the mask, it's an experimental thing to use like a brush, and then you just keep washing it down, and then you'll create like texture like that, which is kind of cool because a lot of like the paint, like the render is kind of simple, and you just need like a little bit of texture to really kind of make it alive a little bit. And here you have like some renders with like local colors like throw into it, and still it's very simple. Like you can see it's like very low poly, like for the bottom right one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's the submerged interior. I did this like guess like 2 months ago. It's grainy, but still like editable. Like it's still editable. You know, you just like build up layers of mask and then paint on top of it. That's just basically it. You like alter between layers and layers. Well, I think it depends. Like I think grainy kind of give like that texture, kind of realistic sort of. And if you know how to control it, it will look very good. And the top right one as well, there's a lot going on there, but you can always diffuse that, you know, during your process, like rather through mask or just like building layers on top of it. It's up to you. And here's another example I did recently. this one I utilize like more kind of different, uh, like many different renders at once. Like I started out with the top left, and then I started to build up the next layer, like which is the bottom one on top of it, and then start revealing out. You can see like I used the statue here and cut it and edit it out. I use the figures here as well. And some of that part at the ceiling, it's like just for the sake that is some form of light there. I also use it here. So I guess like just utilize mask a lot in your process. And it's a fun idea to have like different, you know, uh light angles to it. And then you can stack them on top of each other. I think I made like um 3D as I think pre-built 3D asset is fine, but you still need to know how to like place them like together. And like the thing with pre-built 3D assets, if you don't know like the basic of modeling, you're probably gonna have like a hard time like adjusting it and edit it like with you know according to what you want. So most of the time I would just like do it out of scratch because most of my work was just like building it out of scratch. Yeah, that is true. But like Sketchfab is fine. Well, from what I know, like a lot of free downloadable like models on there you can find works pretty well. And there are like a lot of ways you can like do that. But if you want like the consistency there, yeah, you should like build like your model from scratch. It's better that way. I know it's like it's hard sometimes, but if you keep doing it, you probably get there like soon enough. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, after that I got like a very, if you notice here, I got like a very warm palette for like the shadows, and then I decided to add like like a layer of cool lights on top of it, just to contrast it a little bit. So yeah, like the key takeaway here is just to you know pay attention to the values and then the temperature. Like that's like two of the most crucial point in like creating every mask for like your process. So now we're gonna move on to like the paint over practice. So last week I did this very simple assets. I guess like a lot of people who are new to Blender can do this as well. It's just like cubes placed together and then grouped up. And then built like a very small kind of asset that I can like copy paste and then like place them together like Legos, to be honest. So here's what I created, like just from like these 6 objects that I built. And you can see that you can achieve like complexity like pretty like easy, like compared to what you're gonna do like if you started out in 2Ds from scratch. And like some of these part here is just like this, arch copy and paste like all over again. And some of the towers too is there, and the stairs. And here, some of the platform here is the, yeah, it's this object to stretch out. Yeah, like modifiers helps a lot too. Like array or mirrors, like those like are very like important modifiers that you should like consider as well. But to make this is not very hard. It's just like a few tutorials on Blender, probably like a week of watching like Blender's tutorial. You can do this as well. So after that, I pick an angle, and I think it would be cool like if we do like a paint over practice on this, because I remember taking like a class in a scat where you have to draw like something come out of like the door. I think it would be like a great idea of like if people wanted to do this. Like if you guys want to do this, just like start it out with like stacking mask and mask on like top of each other, and then just build a base first, and probably think of something fun like coming out of the gate or something. So I'm gonna show you like a few examples just to be like just to clarify this. Like here's some examples that I got some people to do it. So this is from Ali, one of the officers, like extremely beautiful. And you can see here like she is like the cool shadows, like the cool blues in there, and in contrast to that, like the yellowish light, which is kind of nice. And then you can definitely feel like there's like something in the foreground, like blocking, you know, creating that kind of bluish shadows in the gates. And I think it's like a very successful piece. Here's like from here's a one from Ethan. He's a former uh officers here. Very cool idea as well. Started out with I think bluish. No, it's purplish color. Yeah, I agree. And and I like the simplicity here. It's just keeping it like in like blues and purple, around blues and purples. You have like the bluish purple, and you have like the reddish purple, which kind of contrast each other in temperature. Like you have the warmer purple, and then you have the cooler like blues in there. And here's from Martin, one of the officers as well. You can see he added out some of the structure here. You can do that as well. And I think this one's has the purplish like shadow as well, and then like the yellowish uh, light, which is kind of complementary. You can do complementary color as well. Just keep it like low saturation, so it work together pretty well. And then here's some of my 3D paint over. I did like three of them, I guess. Just try to have fun with it if you do it. Here's another one. This one is very simple. It just consists of cools in there and very low saturated color. Oh yeah. Yeah, I had fun doing this. Kind of looks funky, to be honest. And like I didn't spend a lot of time on that too, because you can see like there's still like paint stroke there. Yeah, just if you do it, just maybe like limit the time a little bit, because I think it's not too hard, and just try to have fun with it, you know. And that's the last one. So I'm gonna I'm gonna put out the render on the voice text channel. I'm gonna put Ron Spears in mind there. Mhm. Here's the render if you guys want to try it out. So as I expected. We have like about 30 minutes left, so I'm gonna do like a quick paint over, and you guys can follow along if you guys want. So I'm gonna switch to my iPad to do this one. So hold on a second. Okay, everything's good. Can you guys hear me? Okay, cool. All right, let's start. I'm gonna share my screen. All right, can you guys see my screen? Hmm. See. Running into a problem. Hold on a second.
Your screen's not shared, Khoa.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Oh, okay.
Can you
I
see it?
don't. No, it's not like launching on my end.
All right, hold on a second. I'm just gonna restart Discord here. All right, let's see. Can you guys see it?
Hey, there you go.
All right. All right, so I've imported here into Procreate, and I'm gonna start doing some paint over. I think this time I'm gonna do like a spirit coming out of the gate or something. I think it's kind of cool. I don't want to start out with like a very kind of simple blues for the shadows. I'm gonna go for that. Yeah, I want to build up the sky as well. I'm just trying to keep like the color very simple as I start this. As I started this, hope that could work. And probably do like a bit of the clouds there, just to help like understand what kind of environment we're dealing with. It's just like a fun. You can do it as part of plein air as well. All right. And so far we got that part, the shadow. So that's gonna be like the bottom layer, I suppose. And let's say we do like another layer of it. And you're gonna go for a warm light, probably something like complementary, like orange-ish color. Something like that. And you do a mask. And you want to like fill that mask with black. All right. So I was thinking about like this snowy kind of terrain, but I'm not sure. We'll see. Oh, hope I didn't mess that up. So for this one, I'm thinking about like the light coming from right to left. So it kind of hits like certain point of the castle. Say like that part. This is the part where you kind of reveal the mask as you go along to kind of define the light source. You can try this with me as well. I'm gonna do this pretty quick, so I hope everything makes sense. When the light's there, it hits like certain part of it. Is coming from top, like top right. Say the sun is the sunset, I guess. At this point, like some of these are considered, I think, rim light. I'd say it hits like some part of here as well. As you can see, like the sometimes like the light is already there. You just need to follow the values there. I'm using like I'm using a flat brush for this one. Some of that part hits as well. All right. So far, I got something like that. Maybe hits like the top of the walls a little bit. here as well. I hope some of it already making a little bit of sense. Let's pick this one. Just leave it like that. Some of the contrast already there. Gotta be very delicate here. And possibly this area is covering light as well. If you're on Photoshop, I think you can try like color balance or and then switch to hue and saturation for some of the mask. And it very so areas like this you can probably like try out a few brushes to see how like the texture would go. Because during the process of like reviewing the mask, at some point you kind of accidentally create like that texture through your brush, which I think is a nice thing. Because if you leave everything just kind of plain and flat, it just doesn't feel like alive anymore. And this is a part which you just keep like carving, the form through lights and shadows, almost like sculpting. And I think that's a nice thing about this. It's kind of relaxing to do, to be honest. if you're not happy like with the light, you can always like do the curve to see how it will look. I want to change the color of the sky a little bit so it blends in. I want it to be like an evening at evening times. Playing around the skies a little bit. It's just practice. So if you do this, just try to have fun with it as much as you can. Almost feel like the sun is setting down. And jump in with a little bit of the round brush. Just to have like a transition there. Yeah. Satisfying, isn't it? So now I think I want to add like a core shadow thing. So it's the base color, but it's like a little bit darker. It's like the bottom layer, but it's like just a bit darker. So we have something. I'll probably shift the temperature as well. Maybe like cooler, I think. All right, let's see. Do another mask on that. We do the core shadow. Like at the edge here. Hopefully that makes sense. You can play with the texture a little bit too. try like a grainy texture. All right. For the most part, I think this shouldn't be. All right, let's turn that off. All right, we're running out of time. I'm gonna do this quick. Just keeps showing. Okay. Let's diffuse this down a little bit. So it doesn't feel too concentrated. All right. So far is what we have. All right. Now I'm gonna draw something in the middle. Sorry for the messy layer. I'll say something very bright. Primary color. I'm thinking about a fish or something. I think no, I think I did. I think I did download like a brush pack for this, but it's just like a plain flat brush, kinda. You can find it on the internet too. It's like it's right on top of the search. It's called like Red Huge Pack or something. But like the the Casey Select thing. Yeah, I use it too. Like the oil, some of the oil brush. Okay, coming close. Just bear with me. I'll do something like glowing out of this. Wrong brush. It's like a spirit, sort of glowing spirit. So it's gonna cast like some sort of ambient light on the castle. So I'm gonna add like another layer, like bluish. It's the antenna. Okay. The ambient light. Oops, sorry. I'm gonna go for soft brush. So it casts back on to the castle because it glows a little bit. And shadows cast here. I have the paper like screen protector. Feels good though. About to have to wrap things up a little bit. Pretty quick. I'm
gonna finish this piece up. Probably just not finish later on. At this point, I think the skies. I'm gonna fix the sky a little bit more. And I think overall it kind of should be a little bit darker too. Group this up. I'm going to. You know what? I'm gonna do like curves. And do another mask. And fix the sky a little bit, I think. Yeah, totally. You guys gotta go, you know. It's okay. I'm gonna stay here for a while. Probably finish this up a little bit. And the render is still in the voice text, so if you want to take a try, if you want to try to do that, I'll be like extremely happy. If you do it, just send it to me. I would love to see it. Yeah, it could work for. Yeah, this could work for clean air too. I'm gonna add a little bit of rim light. Some of the stairs here need to be worked a little bit too. But I guess we're lacking a little bit of time on that. So I'm gonna do that quick for the sake of it. That's the reflected light. Should I put the presentation on voice text too? Just to leave some of the examples there. Okay. Okay, sure. Let's put that there. thank you, dude. Nice, Allie. You did another one? That is cool. Such an honor. Yeah. No problem. Hope it's helpful. It's nice you make like the dragon a little bigger. All right, I want to add the snow too. Yeah, you help a lot. I think it's like a good occasion, like for you to kind of experience, to be experimental on like shadows and light, just to try out cool, cool shadows and then warm light, or like warm shadow, cool light, kind of. I think that it's mask. Is that did that answer your question? It's kind of like mask layer. If you want to change like the color of the render, you can use like a layer adjustment, like I think color balance, and then there's like hue, saturation, and brightness as well. Curves work as well. Gradient works fine too. But normally I see like people when they use like gradient, they would just stick with it, which is like a layer. So just don't get fixed on that. Oh, nice. Taking another try at it, Martin. Seems like you had fun. That's the point. I guess the point of this is just like painting exercise because like you can do this on 2D too. You just lay it out like the values, and then you can start like putting colors. Like there are tons of different ways like when people do that. I'll put a bit of snow here. Can I be subtle with it? And probably have like the reflected light thing too. Oh, okay. Put that on top. This is the touch up part. Hope this all makes sense to you guys so far. Kind of sketchy, but I think you got the idea. Darken it a little bit more. All right, so far it's looking like this. Anything I should add? Just, I guess, just raise the dirt a little bit more. Give it a bit of texture to the ground. It's in voice text channel. There are two there. Oh, it's getting lost in the voice text channel. I didn't expect that. If you want the some of the examples in my presentation, I put the PDF file in the voice text as well, so you can see like some of the example, what you can do with that render. Yeah, no problem. Um, I'm glad that this helped you guys in some way. You can't hear anything? No. Probably just me like staying silent, I guess. If you guys have any questions, yeah, just go for it. For me. Did you turn off the recording, Tessa? First, oh yeah, okay. Well, pretty close to finishing this. Although it might look very sketchy though. You can still see like the brushstroke on it. habit. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this is helping. I think I should keep it just a bit more simple. Maybe like a figure, I guess, to top that off. Yeah, the classic stick man. It is. Oh, let's make him like a knight or something, because it fits the theme of it. And I think a little bit more of the rim light is fine for now. Oh, and if you do the practice, just send it to me. I would like to see them. Yeah. Yeah. I had people like pointing that out. Like they say that, oh, you're doing like photo studies, not linear airpool. So I was like, but it is. It's said on their page. It's not supposed to be that way. Yeah. I think it's just painting in general. Because people won't like if anyone came up with that, I think they wanted the challenge to reach more people. It's supposed to be that way. Yeah. I kind of want to add a flag too. Like how did it? Yeah, you always need a reason. Yeah, I think when you time yourself while you're doing the painting, it's just like you have to act like faster. You gotta find like a clear solution to everything. Yeah. Well, sometimes like you're doing like for the sometimes you do it for the first time, it will take a lot of time for the first time. Like I did the plein air thing last year, and there were days I would just kind of want to give up, but you know, still gotta find a way. Sometimes it would be like just 30 minutes based on your reference too. Oh, you put it in the 480 contract. Okay. I guess for the most part, I think I'm done with this. Oh, yeah. The improvement. Whoa, nice work, Caroline. So epic. Look at that. So dynamic. I like how you like shift the ground like that. Whoa, and the clouds too. Oh my god. Yeah, I think it's like a cliche thing for film to do that, but it looks cool. Yeah, it's about that, that storytelling. did this one because like it reminds me of Stephen Gardner assignment. If you guys took his class, he has that yeah, the warm and cool painting on the door. Yeah. Yeah, I struggle a lot with that assignment for the first time. Yeah, sure. Thank you, dude. That help? Yeah, I don't think the flag works there. Yeah. Kind of like a Dark Soul, that fire. Yeah, that fire camp. How about like a sword in the middle? Yeah.